10 seconds into this journey.
No traffic either.
Yeah, flying.
Bonus.
Killing it. I wanted to talk to you, mate, about the strongest man on earth.
Yes.
It's coming up, mate. 2.5 weeks away. And a number of lads that you know very, very well are going to be on this card. And I want to walk through the matches if you're up for it.
Most definitely.
So, Lawrence Chaclet of UK Town will be pulling Martins Lisis.
Tricky one.
Setting the sort of scene for this a little bit, mate. I understand on the grapevine, the jungle drums, that Martins, you'll know more about this, I would imagine, is prepping again for Strongman.
He is. Yeah, so poor Martins had some real bad injury over the last couple of years. With in and out of the gym, he actually had a few niggles in the gym, and then he was on his mountain bike and got into a bit of a car, not crash, but I think a car wiped him out, and I think really injured his knee, so he has to spend a bit more time out, injured and rehabbing and stuff. But he's been doing lots and lots on his YouTube. He's been going all over the world doing his YouTube.
Strength unknown thing,
which
great.
I think is fantastic. It's typical Martins. He likes to think outside the box. He's naturally an athlete. Like whatever he touches, he's really good at. And I think with the arm wrestling, he wouldn't have gone in it blinded. You know, he would have definitely have taken some, some sort of coaching type thing, because he wants to be good at it. And I reckon he's going to come in pretty damn tasty, pretty strong.
Now, if he's training for World's Strongest Man again, or for any of the big major strength tournaments, which he's going to be entering because he's a former World's Strongest Man.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
And as you say, natural athlete.
Yeah.
We've seen little bits of him, little clips of him, and he looks like he's moving quite well. Obviously, he's going to have some holes in his game because he's not been experienced to the same level as Lawrence. Let's talk about Loz a little bit. Our very own Lawrence Chaclet. This guy really chucked himself into the sport. Really takes it seriously. He's not mucking about. And Loz trains down in Swindon.
He does, yeah.
Some super strong guys. I know he's also been doing a bit of work with the mighty Tommy Holland.
Yes, yeah, Tommy, yeah.
Who I rate very, very highly.
Yeah, me too. And he's also a really nice guy.
Lovely dude.
Yeah, lovely.
Rock strong, and I think that's helped Lawrence quite a lot.
Yeah.
Of course, he's come to the Titan House and done little bits with myself and yourself.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Who do you see as the favourite here, mate? Because experience, you got to go with Loz.
Yeah.
Is he strong enough to get it done?
Well, I think they're both similar in hand and wrist. Martins also is a bit of a grip genie. Loz has always had a very strong grip all throughout his years of strongman. You know, the farmers and the frame and all the bits and pieces which are very hand and wrist dominant. He's really crushed them. Also with Martins. Martins also does a lot of his strongman training with Odd Hogan, who is another grip geek, former bodybuilder from Norway, also done World's Strongest Man.
Yep.
I think he's in his 70s now, but still...
Was Martins sort of Odd Hogan's protege in a way?
Yeah.
So he sort of discovered him.
Yeah. So Martins is Latvian from birth, came over to the States as a young age, and I think he's based, I want to say Florida, but I could be wrong, but he's always been into strength sports, and I think he's obviously training quite a lot, or has been training quite a lot of Odd Hogan, who's obviously a bodybuilder, formerly from Norway, done a bit of bodybuilding, done a bit of strongman, been to World's Strongest Man, but even now, I think he may be late 60s, early 70s, he's still doing a lot of grip kind of competitions. He's still got a good axle. He's got like an over 50s axle world record or something, so he's in good company with things like that.
In terms of favourite, who have you got and why? Where would your money be?
Tricky. Like I said, they're both very hand, wrist dominant. Loz hopefully has worked on the arm. He needs that little bit more power in the arm. Lisis is probably the same. I think they're going to be very similar, but I think with Loz doing it longer, I think he's going to have a little bit more understanding and technique on the table. So I think that would help him a huge amount. Technique is key, as we know. So I would say Loz. I think I could go Loz.
I hope Loz wins.
Yeah.
I'm obviously biased as hell because I want Loz to win because he's been in the Titan House.
Yeah,
and
he's
a UK lad, so it'd be good if he can kick some ass. And also, I do respect that Lawrence has committed as hard as he has, and he's taken his lumps. He's had some success at amateur level. His first pro match with yourself, he came up short on that one, but he took it well. Took it on the chin.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite a ballsy match for Lawrence to take actually here, because Martins Licis is no joke.
No, he's not.
Very, very solid lad, and I know that a number of strongmen are keen to see what Martins Licis can do in this match. They think if he gets hold of Lawrence, it's going to be a problem.
He was an unknown quantity at Worlds and in the strongman, the qualifiers and stuff. No one really knew much about him, but he wasn't amazing at anything, but he was really, really good at everything.
Yeah,
he was a bit of a Swiss Army knife with events and stuff, and I think he's going to do the same with the arm wrestling. I know, like you say, he's going back to Worlds, and I think he's going to do some arm and some other bits with the strongman, but I definitely think he can capitalise on a lot of the bits that he's been shown, and I think he can do really well with arm wrestling.
So, next match, Sir Edward Hall, Eddie Hall. We're on the way down to train Sir Edward right now.
Yeah.
Talking to natural athletes, he's definitely one of those lads.
Oh, he's a super being, and he's an absolute freak.
Picks things up crazy fast. Now, in his words, Robert Oberst is a bit of a mirror image. He reckons that Oberst is somebody who picks things up really fast, and this is a big dude.
Yeah, he's a lot.
He's a big boy, and what is he, like 6'6", 6'7"?
I think he could be. I think he's similar to Brian. Yeah, he's around the 6'7" mark.
So
he's a big unit,
and massive leverage advantage. Naturally, straight out of the gate, huge leverage advantage. But we have seen Eddie overcome those odds before.
Yeah.
We know that he can get pins there, and we know, or we assume, that Brian had more table time at the time that first match took place. So, how do you see this one going now? How do you rate Rob Oberst firstly?
I've only seen a tiny bit of footage online with him training, and I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm gonna go with whatever with Ed, because I train with him. I compete with him, and you coach both of us, and that's where we're on our way to go and do some more training with Ed. And over the last maybe a year, I suppose, he's come on in leaps and bounds, isn't he? His speed and his knowledge of technique. When you show us some bits, he's on it already, and his start position and everything else he's really, really good. And I think it's going to take a very, very polished Rob Oberst to beat that. And also he knows now to work on, if it goes to slip, go into strap, because I think that's definitely a path that Ed can capitalise on, is getting into a strap, because he's a big boy, 160 odd kilos, and he can work so quick on that start. And if he's in a strap, I think it'll be very, very tricky for Rob to do anything with him.
One of the things that I like most about Eddie is that he can find resting spots really well. He's learnt to rest in matches really well, and I'm wondering how much experience of that Oberst has had. We know he's been training with the Cali boys, some super experienced pullers over there like Alan Fisher. Very, very interesting to see how much table time he's had and how much meaningful table time. Because everybody knows arm wrestling clubs vary. We know that some lads just like to match pull whilst others break it down technically. We're very much that latter approach, where we break it down into disparate elements and try to build people back up. I wonder what Rob's been doing, and because there's been so little online, we don't really know anything about it.
I'm sure he's done the normal bits and pieces with the technique. I think he's going to do. I think his setup is very much top roll. I think he's going to go for that top roll, use his body weight, a bit of back pressure. I don't think he's going to be used to the rest points that Ed is very happy doing. And like I said, get him into a strap, and I think it'll be very different, because that's a different type of competition, especially being strapped to Ed. And I think, I wouldn't say you'll panic, but when you're new to it, and you kind of like you're trying to fight your arm, and you're trying to get yourself into a few positions that you think are okay, but obviously they're not. I think it could come down to things like that, and I think that could unstick him. But with as calm as Ed's always been, and the knowledge he's got throughout our sessions and your coaching, I think that'll play a huge part in his win with him.
You've had as much time on the table with Eddie as anyone in the world, probably more. How good is he, Rob?
Yeah, he's really good. He's annoyingly good, because in the time that you've had with him and I've been training with him, and obviously I with the coaching, he's learned so quick. You know, that in the stuff that you've shown him and he's taken on board in the last sort of 6 months, it's taken me probably 2 years, because he learns so quick. He's so visual with his learning. You show him something and he's got it, and that'll pay dividends for not just this match but for future matches. And you know, if he keeps with it and tries to do it in between all his fighting and stuff, he could really be a force. He could be up there with Brian in the next year or so.
So Rob, the big match.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the other two aren't big, but this is big.
This is big.
The Shaw Classic, domain of one Mr. Brian Shaw Esquire.
Yeah.
A lot of hype around Brian.
Yeah.
Whereas you can say that Eddie Hall has been more transient in terms of his interest in the sport. You cannot say the same thing about Brian Shaw. Brian is all in, every ounce in.
Everything.
Now, he's also physically unique. He's an absolute weapon
He is.
of a man. The guy he's arm wrestling, it's a strength background, strength pedigree. This is a guy who's, 1,000-pound squatter. He's a beast.
He is.
He's also got like 5 years of arm wrestling experience,
Yes.
so significantly more than Brian, who's under a year at this stage.
Yeah.
This is a bloody intriguing match, mate, because Brandon Allen has been this sort of he's been the hype train killer before, hasn't he? I mean, let's be honest, Larry Wheels came in, a lot of weight behind Larry, super athletic, super strong guy, was learning quick, took this match relatively early, and Brandon Allen put the brakes on with that sticky Kings move.
Yeah.
How do you see this one, mate?
Wow. Brian has kind of gone in pretty much at the deep end for opponents, and with Brandon and his background and his pedigree with his strength sports, his powerlifting and all his other bits and pieces, a bit of a bench freak as well. He does a lot of strict curl stuff and strict curl records, and like you say, he's got 5 years arm wrestling behind him. Brian's going up against him literally in his backyard. The pressure's on Brian. It's his show, and
He's going to be stressed, isn't he?
yeah, he's going to be stressed, especially trying to run the whole strongman and then compete at the arm wrestling. So, but with Brian, like you said, he's 100% all in. So when he was doing strongman, he was 100% all in, and it's likewise with the arm wrestling. And he's definitely done his homework. He felt fantastic when he came over to us a couple of weeks ago. Felt good. The range he's got with that big arm and that big hand is fantastic. I think that's what's going to give Brandon a bit of trouble. He's very similar to me, quite short in the forearm, and the hand isn't massive, but he's a tricky customer because he's got that King's move. He's also got lots and lots of side pressure. But Brian's done his homework on him. Brian's watched him. There's lots of footage. I've watched quite a lot of footage of Brandon. And I think it'll be, as you've spoken before, I think it'll be on the start. I think if Brian can ascertain that position on the start, I think he'll have him, but he's got to really be quick on that start and get exactly what he needs to be, or get where he needs to be to get anywhere on Brandon, because if he gets in that Kings, that's going to be an absolute bitch to move. But with Brian's size, if he can, get back up into position and press into that Kings, then I can see him going through it. I really do.
Do you think the Kings is the only shot for Brandon Allen? Do you think he's in any way strong enough in an orthodox way to do something with Brian?
No. I think he's going to try, and I think you know, like we discussed before, you try plan B, plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, you go to plan B, which is great, especially, you know, with super matches, because you've always got that option, haven't you? And I think he's going to revert, or maybe automatically go into a Kings, because I think there's just too much. You know, height is king, as you've always said. And ascertain that height on the start, Brandon's not going to be able to match that, and I think that could be the catalyst for Brian to gain a little bit extra, and also the dominance he's got with his angles. You know, that much height in his hand, he's got so much more on the table that he can work off of, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I think that could be the way forward, and yeah, I think Brandon will go for the Kings, but I think it will only last a bit until, you know, Brian remembers what to do, gets up, puts all his weight through that Kings. Because you got, what's he, 170 kilos?
Yeah.
Kings move.
Yeah. I know the game plan that we've implemented with Brian in terms of what we're trying to do. Height is king, and it's making sure that you don't commit too early.
Yeah.
Until you've got enough of the match secured, and that's where the sort of, he's got to walk that tightrope a little bit to make sure he doesn't make that mistake, because the reality of the King's move is it becomes more dangerous. It tightens up when you attack it, and it tightens up low.
Yeah.
So you've got to make sure that when you do attack the Kings, you do it with significant control. And I think if Brian can get that kind of control, which he should be able to do, he is going to be a force of nature. To stop him there, it ain't going to be easy.
It's not.
It's not going to be easy, particularly if he revs up, because you don't see Brian rev a lot. When we were over there training with Sir A. Brown, a couple of times we got him revving, and he's a different individual when he revs up. You know, when he really sort of unleashes it. So
well, he's got that kind of that competition switch.
Yes.
Which is out at Strongman, and he really does need for the arm wrestling. And
my biggest concerns of what, like you said, mate, is going to be that he comes in stressed off his ears with the general organisation of the show, because he's organising strongest man on earth, strongest arm on earth, the expo, and ultimately the book stops with Brian. So not an easy environment to do this thing.
No, he's given himself a lot to do, physically and mentally. So I think he could, you know, if he puts that all to bed and the stress, he could use that. And like you say, if he a revved up Brian, I think Brandon's got his hands full, literally, because that would be good. I don't think it's going to be easy either side. I think it'll be it's going to be a bit of a screamer, but I think I'm excited to watch it. Put it that way, it'll be good. So
you see it as being a battle? You think it's going to be?
I think it will be a battle, between you know, Brian with his power, Brandon he's got those few nice moves, you know, that lovely bit of side pressure. Obviously the Kings, you know, he's good at with his back pressure and stuff as well. So he's lots for Brian to think about, lots for Brandon to try and gain where in bits he can, and areas he can.
Well, let's talk about you a bit, son. Because you've been on a bit of a tear.
I've really enjoyed it,
I mean, in the Arm Wars events at the moment, you're undefeated. So you've got the Battleground win, where you took out John Thompson, James Beach, were in that environment, and you got the win there. You then went on to pull Loz. You had a great win there. And then most recently, we've just seen you in Iron House 5. What a match that was, Noah Burton. If you haven't seen the Iron House 5, get over, check out Loz's latest work. Bobby Frampton's latest work. He's done amazing there. Your style, technique, approach to matches, all has evolved. Step by step by step by step, mate. You really definitely are one of the guys that shows the evolution of your arm wrestling clearer than probably anybody else on the roster, to be honest. It's like you can see you going through the steps in your head.
It's strange,
most people, it's less obvious. With you can actually see you implement it when you've been working with you, and that's refreshing to see, number one. Are you really feeling the change in yourself? Are you feeling that your arm wrestling different now?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, my position from start to finish feels better. My actual training in the gym with my, you know, on table time and with cables and bands is different. I'm highlighting small areas rather than trying to do everything. You know, when you first start, and I did it, and I'm sure a lot of the guys at home will agree. When you first get into your arm wrestling, you buy 6, 7, 8, whatever, all these different handles, and you want to be doing like hook and side pressure and everything you can think of. to refine, or what you think is make your arm wrestling better. And it's not until you start to think and understand where your weaknesses, where the holes that that you've shown me, and what you coach myself and Ed with, and working on them and working directly with those. With you always refer to the brushing your teeth movement, which is for me the bread and butter of anything that we do with the arm wrestling, and position and height and everything. And so I really do kind of dissect my training into those small areas with my pronation, because I use a lot of pronation in and out the strap. I use a lot of back pressure. I try and keep everything where I need to be on the rotator. So these are the bits which I really do kind of magnify in my training and make sure they are perfect, because everything else feels strong, the arm feels strong, but I still train it. But it's those small little areas which I've now worked on, obviously with you giving me the feedback of where I need to be and what I need to train, and then I take it on board, condense it down to my sessions, and then sort of like just add them to my sessions along with all my other gym stuff. But that's what I found key when we're not on the table. But when we are on the table, I just try and absorb all your words and your knowledge from when we train, or when we're training with Ed, and put it to practice. I mean, that's the end thing, is it? Practice, and it's getting those positions. I feel my setup, my start positions better. I feel I've got more power in that, and I'm a bit quicker. And I think I'm a little bit better out of the strap now. I always used to try. I obviously still want to aim for a strap because I feel very strong in the strap, but I think I'm a little bit more confident out of the strap now. So I'm, week by week, month by month, I'm adding another string to my bow, as it were. So I'm feeling good, and it works. It's that slow burn of keeping things consistent and just keep doing things. And not, everyone thinks it's boring, but to me, I love that process, that slow build process. I mean, it's the best thing ever, to become that little bit better every time.
And everybody's talking about the strongman crossover, the strong woman crossover. People that are coming from elite strength sports into arm wrestling, making that transition and kicking some ass. Right now, we've got Lauren Charley about to pull Martins Lisis. We've got Eddie Hall about to pull Rob Oberst. Brian Shaw about to pull Brandon Allen. Brian, Eddie, Oz, Lisis, Oberst. Where do you see yourself in that mix? If you were to sort of rank those guys in order, be brutally honest, where do you think you would sit up there? Do you think you could beat all of them? Most of them? Where do you see yourself if that's an open tournament? You all face each other fresh on your best day.
Yeah.
Where does your mind tell you finish, Rob? And I know you're a super humble guy, so I'll put you on the spot here.
Yeah.
But I just want you to be brutally honest. Where do you see yourself within there? You've already pulled Lawrence and beaten him.
Yeah.
Who else is on that list? Who could you knock off?
I think I've got the knowledge and the power to take out Martins and Oberst. Training so much with Ed, I know where he's strong and I know where his speed is, and I also know a few little areas where I could possibly get him. And so it would probably be out of him or Brian, and the way, because of the sheer height and dominance that Brian's got at that start, I think he'd be the only one that would scupper me to get that win over everyone. So I think it would be Brian, the one that would probably I'd have the most trouble in beating. Mm-hmm. But I think if I could find an avenue or a hole in his setup, then maybe I could. But I would definitely put myself up there in maybe second. I think it would be Brian that would give me the most hassle, just because of his build. And I've never really arm wrestled him. I've gripped up with him. We've done a little bit like we did the other week, but I haven't really felt that potential that he's got, which I know he's got.
Now, we know that Brian is about to step out of that sort of crossover realm a little bit and go in to a match with a established arm wrestler, because Brandon Allen is definitely that at this stage.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself there now? Are you still a strongman crossing over? Are you an arm wrestler now? What's your honest opinion of you?
Oh, I'm an arm wrestler. 100% arm wrestler. I came over, I first started with you 15 years ago, did a novice while I was recovering from a back injury from Strongman. one of many. And now this is my 5th year, I think. So my 5th year of arm wrestling.
5th year where you've committed.
Yeah. And I'm solely arm wrestling. My training out in the gym is directed at arm wrestling. My training out of the gym is directed at arm wrestling. That's all I do. That's all I want to do.
And where do you see your sort of next logical matches, mate? Are you interested in pulling crossover lads, or not so much? Are you want to do the matches against a number of the established arm wrestlers, and if so, have you got any sort of? Do you keep like a bit of a hit list? Not in an adversarial manner, because I know you're not that guy. But do you have a wish list of guys you want to pull?
I do. I mean, I'd love to keep pulling the strongman guys, because I think that's great, as in strongman arm wrestling carryover.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to learn more by jumping into the pros, the big boys in the arm wrestling, and going up against a really good, quick top roller. I've done the press and the kings with Noah. A bit of top roll, a bit of hook with Loz, and a little bit with Uncle John, and I think that would. I've got to keep diversifying. I've got to keep understanding where my technique is, and I need to strengthen what I haven't come across at the moment with an opponent. So by aiming high, you keep pushing, because it doesn't matter if I in the next 10 opponents and I lose 10. In those 10 opponents, I've gained so much experience and knowledge, because I'll know or try to do that a little bit better in the next one. If I keep winning, that's fine. But for me, winning's fantastic, and that's what we all want to do. But I don't think you learn as much from winning as you do from losing. and I want to be, like really, really good, that I can, mix it with the top boys in this country, if not, Europe or the world. There's such a broad spectrum of athletes out there. I want to pull as many people as I can in the next couple of years, really.
And you look at it domestically, mate, at the super heavyweight scene domestically. How many names at super heavyweight are there in Great Britain who you think best you right now? How many guys do you think, that guy knocks me off in the supers in your weight class?
Well, I think the top guy in the heavies is still probably Mindaugas.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic, absolutely fantastic arm wrestler. He's got that evil press, but he's not unbeatable. Like I did with Noah, if I can get him out of that position, I think I could be in with a bit of I could give him a good run for his money. I'm not saying I can beat him just yet, but I'm going to try, and I inevitably will beat him in the future. And then Mantis, another Lithuanian giant with possibly the same size hand as Felix in the arm wrestling world. He's unbelievable. Good height, big hand, good strong position. I think he's number 2. I think me and him would have a cracking battle. That would be interesting. I used to train with Mantis about 4 years ago, actually, down south. And he was strong back then, so I'm sure he's got a lot stronger since.
Where does James Stewart fit into that? Do you think he gives?
Yeah, I'm just about. Yeah, James would be 3rd, I think. James would be. We trained with him a little bit on the first training camp with Ed, didn't we? And he felt strong, but I didn't want to put any pressure onto him, because he was obviously helping us train Ed, so I didn't want to give him too much. But he did feel strong. His hand strong. I'm not sure on his arm. That's what I would probably attack with James, would be his bicep. I'd get him on his arm, but I'd put him at 3. The rest, I'm not too sure. In heavies, I know, like Weber, he pulls heavy now and again, and I know Tom Holland pulls heavy now and again, but they're like,
more lighter guys.
Yeah.
You've got your James Wall.
Yeah, James Wall. Yeah.
But they're really lighter guys that are coming up to the supers. Yeah. But in your weight class, you would say there's only really 3 guys that you think are.
Yeah, I think so.
You'd put above you.
Yeah, I think so.
Who's the match you'd most like domestically now? When you look at that setup, when you look at it, who's the guy that makes more sense for you, and why?
In this country or?
This country first.
I'd love to have a match with either James Stewart or Mantis. I think Mindaugas is probably another 6 months, 9 months of dedicated training to try and get over that position that he's got, that technique. I think the others would, with the right amount of impacts on directing our sessions in with what they've got, I think it'll be a good. I